Hello, everybody. I can't talk. Hello, everybody. I've done this again. Hello, everybody. How can't I do that? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and lots to discuss as per usual. If I can get my words out, especially around Jadon Sancho, but lots of things around Dean Henderson, Dalot, players leaving, links to clubs like West Brom for Lingard. Lots and lots of things to discuss, but we're going to start off with... we're on the road to 800k, by the way. Please subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. We're literally about 30 subscribers away from 800,000, which is fantastic. But the title of the show is Sancho Transfer Development, but actually it really should be Sancho Transfer Farce, which I think is what it says on the thumbnail, because in the dictionary, under the word farce, it explains the word to be an event or situation that is absurd or disorganised. And this is exactly what the situation is with regards to Jadon Sancho. Now, more news coming out today. And it is becoming a farce. It really is becoming a farce. And I say this because you've now got, I would say, 80% of the fan base thinking it's not going to happen. We've now got 20% thinking it's going to happen. We've got people thinking we've never spoken to Sancho. People think we've done personal terms with Sancho. And this is being fed by the media. By the media. This is being fed by the media. It has become an absolute farce. Today we've got updates for you from ESPN, Manchester Evening News, Fabrizio Romano. Total contrasts of the situation. So we try and add a little bit of clarity here. So basically, Manchester Evening News have said that the hold-up is there is a hold-up in this deal with the player and the agent involved, because the agent fee and the player fee has not been resolved in relation to wages. ESPN are saying the same. Personal terms have not been done. However, Fabrizio Romano is saying personal terms are done, and it's normal if there's no agreement between the clubs that clubs will deny personal terms have been done. So it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the people I feel sorry for are you. People I feel sorry for you, because you are in this situation where, just being a human being, you're gonna take the information and you go, oh, it's definitely not happening, or it's a smoke screen, this, that and the other. The reality is with this, that terms have been agreed with the player. That I'm totally confident that's been done. And I think what Romano is saying is the closest to the truth. That if Manchester United admit or let it be known that they've agreed personal terms with the player, and then the deal falls through, it's troublesome fourfold. Mainly because the fans will know that how close this deal is, because we've actually spoken to Sancho and agreed terms. And if they don't do the deal, it will cause a major uproar, which it will anyway. But also, if they don't do the deal, it doesn't embarrass Sancho's future at Dortmund, that Dortmund fans know that we agreed terms with him and it got that far. And it also doesn't disrupt dressing rooms here and elsewhere, that if we bring somebody else in, you're the backup for Sancho. So I think what Romano is saying there is absolutely spot on, that it's normal for a club to deny that there are personal terms agreed when they haven't agreed the deal with the club, because if it all falls apart, it's problematic for all parties that, you know, Sancho and United, it got that close, they'd even agreed terms. The positive, I would say, and the reason I am here yet again saying I'm 90% sure this deal will be done, is because terms have been agreed with the player, and that shows you how close the deal is. And also, whatever Manchester Evening News say, whatever ESPN say, whatever Fabrizio Romano says, nobody is saying that the deal isn't going to happen, and nobody, apart from Dortmund, and it benefits them to do that, and nobody's saying that discussions aren't ongoing. This deal will happen. It will happen. I'm confident it's going to happen. But it is descending into farce, because the information that's going out publicly, it doesn't, you know, I almost feel sorry for ESPN and Manchester Evening News, and they don't want my pity. But when they say that terms are not done, and then Fabrizio Romano comes out quoting it, saying, well, they are done, it's normal not to announce it because the deal between the clubs not done yet, it causes mass confusion. It causes a farce. And I don't blame any United fan for being mega pessimistic, thinking this deal's not going to happen. And I don't blame any United fan for being like me and being totally confident it's going to happen. Because the reality is that the conversation is still going on. The terms are there. The player wants to come to Manchester United. As I said 2 weeks ago, the deal is so close you can always touch it. But there's so much confusion. And one of the things I would add in here, hi Mark, can you shout out at premierleague.media, one of the Premier League pages on Instagram, 21.9k followers. Thank you, man. It says Premier League Media. There you go. They're on Instagram. That reminds me, if you want to get on our Premier League, Fantasy Premier League, we've got a league this year through the Premier League Fantasy, Football Fantasy Premier League official website. If you want to get on it through the Discord. Welcome to Carter Thompson and to Conor McOsker, latest members of the United Stand Members Club. Apparently we've hit 800,000 subscribers as well, which is fantastic. Thank you, everybody. But look, something I was thinking about today about Sancho before we move on to all the topical stuff from today. People keep saying, you said it was going to happen on the 7th. I didn't say it was going to happen on the 7th. I said it wouldn't surprise me. I thought it was an opportunity to do it on the 7th. It was obviously way too soon. I cannot give people the date that Sancho will sign for United, but what I would say is this, and I was thinking about this today. Thanks for the Super Chat Summit, Chakarafti. And Joshua Harper says, usually when someone walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. There's no optimism about Sancho. United have a big summer move on, says Joshua Harper. Well, there, Joshua Harper feeds nicely into what I was going to say. Whether you believe Sancho's going to happen like me or you don't believe it's going to happen, the reality is, if Sancho signs for United, I think we can all agree that this is the biggest deal of the summer. It's massive, massive news. And Manchester United, I can tell you categorically, they want to get Sancho. And if they do get Sancho, they want it to be the big fanfare PR that it will be. Today, Glazers Out has been trending on Twitter. I've got no interest in this Glazers Out trending on Twitter. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I'm not Glazers Out. I've always been Glazers Out. I never wanted them to buy the club. They bought it on debt. I never wanted them to be in charge of the club when we won the Champions League. I never wanted them to be in charge of the club when we won the Premier League. I'm not going to start tweeting Glazers Out just because they haven't bought Jadon Sancho yet. Because I saw this last summer. There was even a bloody protest march outside Old Trafford. But then the transfer window closed. We didn't get a striker or a midfielder. And Glazers Out was never heard of again. So I don't trust the Glazers Out on Twitter thing. I think it's just a reactionary thing. And if we sign Sancho, everyone will be saying Woodward's a boss again. So the truth is, they're not great owners of this football club, and that's been proven. But the Glazers Out thing doesn't bother me. What really bothers me is that when you think about the Sancho deal, if it happens, it's a huge deal. Now, Manchester United at the moment will probably be quite happy knowing that they can get that Sancho deal done, knowing that David Brooks is a rumour, knowing that that United fans are starting to get a bit pessimistic. They'll be quite happy with the mood in the fan base at the moment. Will they take on board that it's making people miserable? Probably not, because what will be making them happy is that when they do get this deal done, it's going to hit like a home run. 2 weeks ago, everyone was hyped. Now they're not hyped. Now they're pessimistic. Now they're fed up. Now they're depressed. Now they think the deal's not going to happen. And when it starts to kick off in a couple of weeks, everyone's going to get really excited again and they'll get that buzz. It's almost playing the system, getting those shares up and down, whatever you want to say, getting the interest up and down. This is what I think is happening. And also, if you are going to announce a big deal, do you want to do it when there's a Europa League final on Friday and there's a Champions League semi-final tonight and there's a Champions League final on Sunday? Or do you want to wait and probably till about this time next week when the Champions League winners fanfare has died down, there is no other football, there's no international football, it's all very quiet, it's all perfect to go, this is Jadon Sancho week. And I think Manchester United will be thinking about that as well. The delay feeds into the fanfare that they want when this deal is announced. Mark, any truth to David Brooks beginning to follow United and Pogba, says Mojo. You know what? I said what I wanted to say about David Brooks this morning. Nothing's going to change my mind that he's a Manchester United quality player. £40 million. £40 million for a 23-year-old who's been injured for a year with a bad injury, who got relegated with Bournemouth and nobody else wants. We're not signing David Brooks, because if we sign David Brooks, we may as well get Josh King a 2-for-1. They're not good enough for Man United. And I said what I needed to say this morning. Man United should not be buying bench players. That's not going to improve us. Man City are about to get Koulibaly. They got Ferran Torres. Chelsea have got Ziyech, Havertz, Werner. Are these players that are going to sit on their bench? No, they're going to force first-team players to the bench and become first-team players. United should be buying first-team players. Correct me if I'm wrong, we lost a Europa League semi-final the other night because some of our first-team players aren't good enough. and we're going to allow them to still be first team players and buy a bench player. Buy somebody to kick some of those players down to the bench and give them a kick up the arse. Hi Mark, I love the show. What do you think of Man United's new Instagram picture? A lot of people think it's Sancho. I personally don't. What do you think? Says Daniel Parr. I'll have to have a look at that now. Minnesota Vikings, thanks. Latest member of the United Stand Members Club. You are 90% sure Sancho will happen, but I'm 99% sure it will happen, says Anshaman. He's gone higher. Mark, just in case we miss out on Jadon Sancho, is there a proper prolific right-winger target we should actually think of, says Summer? No, there isn't. Sancho's the one we need to get. Dean Crosby, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. And hi, Mark. Can I get unbanned on Twitch? Paulie7. Sorry if I said something bad, please. Forever PVM. Don't start me on Twitch, mate. I don't really know how it works, but I'll do what I can. Hi, Mark. Do you think Romero will leave and Henderson will start to be introduced to the first team? Says Dasbo09. Let me talk to you about that. So Dean Henderson's basically put a message out today thanking Sheffield United and basically ending his stay there. And I think they've also bought a keeper called Ramsdale as well. So this is a big scenario for United because why was the first title Sancho exclusive, says Rohan Phillip? It wasn't. It's always been Sancho transfer development. So this is a big development around Dean Henderson because, and I know what the title was because I wrote it. Dean Henderson has said that he's not going to be at Sheffield United. So this has sent some United fans into, Dean Henderson's going to be at Man United next season. Now again, I'm not going to be a hypocrite about this. If Dean Henderson's at Manchester United next season, so is David De Gea. And if that is the case, why can't I find the Manchester United Instagram page? I follow it. There we go. Let's have a look. Their latest picture is... oh, yeah. I see what you mean. It just... Well, they're right-footed. It's not Jadon Sancho. You can tell by the haircut. They're right-footed. I'd say it's probably Scott McTominay. Let's have a look. Everyone's saying Sancho. It's going to be a genuine United player. I'm just thinking by haircut, it might be Mason. Actually, it might be Mason Greenwood as well. Check the Insta and have a go. It's not Jadon Sancho anyway. A lot of people saying Greenwood. Yeah, it probably is Greenwood. I was just thinking about the hair for a minute, but could be Jesse Lingard as well. Good evening, Mark. Hope you and the family are well. Would you be happy with Brooks, Sancho, Torres, and a left back? Says Jerome T Green. We won't. It's not going to happen. I don't need to talk about that. It's not going to happen, is it? I mean, I don't want Brooks. I don't care if we buy Sancho, a centre-back, a centre defensive midfielder, a striker. I still don't want Brooks. I don't want Brooks. I don't get why we're in for Brooks. He's not cheap. He's British. Why can't we go and get someone from the continent and use our European scouts? Why are we going after someone from Bournemouth just because he's British? I don't want Brooks. Oh, he's born in Warrington. Oh, great. So we can buy another player that we obsess about because he's born near Manchester. So bloody what? Bobby Charlton was born in Newcastle. Duncan Edwards was born in Dudley. George Best was born in Northern Ireland. Who gives a shit where a player's born? I couldn't give a toss. I don't want Brooks. If given chance, would you take Mbappe over Sancho? Says Himanshu Yadav. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I have to think on that one. Doesn't Ollie seem a little irritated these past few press conferences? It seems like he's actually protesting against the club's transfer policy, says Arajit Hunger. He might. Well, I'd be irritated as well. How about Alexander Isak as a striker option? He obliterated Real Madrid this season. He's big, fast, smart and good on the ball. Best Swedish talent since Zlatan, says Johnny Bologna. I'd like United to sign a striker like that. As long as it's not Josh King, I'm happy. But let me just talk to you about Dean Henderson for a moment. I went a bit South African then. Let me talk to you about Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson. Tomato. Let me talk to you about Dean Henderson for a moment. So if Dean Henderson's staying at United and he's not going to Sheffield United, this has got people quite excited because they're like, oh, Dean can push De Gea out. I don't like this. I don't like this. I do not like this. And I'll tell you why. And I've told you before, but I'll tell you for why again. If you've got, and welcome to Christian Diaz, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. If you've got Dean Henderson and David De Gea at Manchester United, it doesn't work. Name me a club in history that's had two brilliant goalkeepers. It doesn't work. Because it doesn't work for Dean and it doesn't work for David. Because if you're Dean Henderson and you get given the number 1 role and David De Gea's on the bench, Dean Henderson makes a mistake and David De Gea plays. If David De Gea then plays and makes a mistake, Dean Henderson keeps coming in. You're not helping either player having a world-class goalkeeper on the bench. Nobody does it. I can't think of a team that's ever done that. It doesn't work for goalkeeper. If you're a right winger or you're a centre forward, if Martial's playing up front and Mason Greenwood's on the bench, yeah, that's a good idea because you can play both, you can rest one. But a goalkeeper works off confidence and consistency, and fine margins can affect the impact of a goalkeeper. So having Dean Henderson and David De Gea at the same club might sound like a good idea. I think it's a stupid idea, and it worries me that maybe Ollie and his coaching staff, because they're a bit inexperienced, might think it's a good idea. Did Sir Alex Ferguson ever have 2 world-class goalkeepers, or top class, whatever you want to call them? It doesn't work. You pick a goalkeeper and you go with that goalkeeper, and you have an understudy who's there for injury or crap cup games. You don't have 2 world-class goalkeepers or top-class goalkeepers. It doesn't work. It will cause more problems. If he wants Dean Henderson to be the coach, loan out David De Gea. But if you want Dean Henderson to be the coach, you've got to put him in goal, just like we did with Fred, just like we did with McTominay, just like we want to do with Twansebi, just like we did with Brandon Williams. You put them in the team and you say, I'm going to play you for a few games no matter what. You don't put Dean Henderson in goal and go, oh, you've made 2 mistakes in a row in 2 games, you're out, David De Gea's in. You go with the goalie and you stay with the goalie. We cannot have Henderson and De Gea at the same club. It would be an accident waiting to happen. So maybe, I don't know what the future is for Dean Henderson. I presume we'll loan him out, but it wouldn't surprise me if we keep them both. Don't worry, Mark, we won't get David Brooks. We're more likely to get Harry Wilson than Brooks, as Joel Morris. And comparing Mbappe to Sancho is like comparing Cheryl Cole to Susan Boyle, says Robert McCormack. I think you're doing Mbappe a disservice there. I mean, look, I know that Cheryl Cole is Sancho, but calling Mbappe Susan Boyle, that's not very nice. Cech and Courtois did it at Chelsea, Mark. They did good. No, they didn't, Dybala. They did not do well at all. If Brook was injured last season and was better before, we could have signed him last year. Story seems fake or a smoke green. If true, it's nonsense, says Akash. Just to move through some stories, because there's another one here. Romero plus cash for Grealish, says Flora Remedios. This is a story that I read today as well. Look, if we can do a deal with Aston Villa for Romero and Grealish, that's great. But how much is Romero worth? He can't be worth more than 5 million. So I don't think Villa would be interested in that. Lampard quickly learnt about overhyped English talent and signed young exceptional talent from Europe in Werner, Ziyech and Havertz. Barring Sancho, when will we learn? Who at our club wants this? Says John Pershatham. And how far do you think Ollie will take us in the Champions League? I think we should sign... Marcus Rashford will be the best left winger in the world. You need to try better to catch me out with rude names. Also, just to go back to Sancho for a minute, because someone mentioned it there. Manchester Evening News said player hold up is the agent fee. They've not even broached a fee with Dortmund yet because of that, and United want add-ons. Let me make you this very clear. The hold up with the United deal is not the personal terms with Jadon Sancho. The hold up with the Sancho deal is Man United not realising what they're buying and who they're dealing with. So this is the hold up. Man United are trying to get him for add-ons. Dortmund won't have it. United have got to pay 120 million euros over the next 2 seasons or they won't get him. Who here thinks he's worth that? Me. Would you do Henderson plus 40 million to Villa for Grealish, says Jerome T. Green. Well, we could do a deal with Villa where Henderson goes on loan there for a year and we get Grealish for a little bit cheaper. But, I mean, look, I've always said having Henderson and De Gea at the same time is a stupid idea. So, if De Gea is the goalkeeper and Ollie backs De Gea, sell Henderson, get some money in the club. I know it's a risk, but I would do it. I don't think keeping 2 goalkeepers when one of them won't play. Henderson's probably worth 40 million. De Gea's probably worth 40 million. What's the point in having both? You only need 1 goalkeeper and a backup. Sell one. I don't think we can sell De Gea because I just don't think anyone would buy De Gea. Would you do it? Yeah, I've done that one. I mean, there is also interest from Everton and PSG for Dalot. Now, this is quite interesting because if PSG want Dalot, we know they've got money. And Everton have got money as well. So I'm quite hopeful that we might get the £20 million back for Dalot. which is good news. So that's looking promising around Diego Dalot, that we might be able to get the money back we spent and also get some money into the transfer pocket as well. Tomorrow morning is the Premier League fixtures are being announced, so I will be live a little bit earlier tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Premier League fixtures are out tomorrow morning. There is a rumour that Manchester United will be playing Arsenal at home. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. Joel Morris, congratulations on hitting the 800,000 mark, and thank you very much, Joel. As much as there is no news about signings, what's worrying is that we ain't moving on the dead wood, says Mojo, which is why it'd be quite good if we did get rid of Dalot. All I want, remember that United are playing their first game a little bit later than everybody else because of what am I trying to think of here? I've lost my mind. This is what happens when you do so much live content. Man United are playing their first Premier League game a week later than everybody else because we got to the latter stages of the Europa League, and the same for Man City in the Champions League. So all I want for our first Premier League game is for it to be at home against somebody crap. So if it is Arsenal, happy days. Akash, latest member of the United Stand members. I joke, really. I would rather get West Brom or Brighton or someone like, or Villa. I mean, Arsenal at home, first game of the season. When you're going into it cold, it could be a bad thing. Henderson to play in the minor cups, but Henderson's just played. Henderson was the best goalkeeper in the league last year. Why is it good for his career to play in Carabao Cup games for Manchester United with the reserves? Can we get a Pratt shirt for 1 million subs? Also, Lingard contract incoming, says Messi Lingard 14. Well, I did hear that West Brom wanted Jesse Lingard on loan. If Lingard's going, I want him to go for money. What's the point in loaning out a 28-year-old? Oh, he's had a good season for West Brom. Let's bring him back at 29. No, I think he needs to go. Let's get some money in for him. Dalot, Champions League, personal terms, Farce, Romero, Greeley. This was an interesting thing as well. I just want to run this by you, actually. A little bit controversial, some would say. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. Great show, Mark. Been keeping up recently. Can't always watch your shows live because of time difference. What's your take on the double deal rumour for Sandro and Douglas Costa from Juventus, says Lyle Lewin. I mean, look, I would like those players 2 or 3 years ago, but not now. They're both pushing 30. But yeah, Wes Brown today. I saw something where Wes Brown said that, talking about the statues that Man City are talking about doing. He said that Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs should get a statue. Now, I don't know whether he was joking or not, but to be honest, I ain't got a problem with Paul Scholes or Ryan Giggs getting a statue outside Manchester United. But I tell you what, I'm going to speak up here. And I'm going to say something. If Manchester United ever think about doing a statue for Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs, I ain't got a problem with it, but there better be a Roy Keane one first. I lived Man United in the successful years. And Ryan Giggs, the class of 92 obsession in the modern day is justified but unjustified. Like, they're held up like the Busby Babes. They weren't the Busby Babes. They were absolutely fantastic. But you take Roy Keane out of that United side and they wouldn't have half the winners' medals they got. The class of 92 were fantastic. All of them. Especially Beckham, Scholes and Giggs and Gary Neville. They were fantastically important and it was an amazing time to live through. But Roy Keane was Sir Alex Ferguson on the pitch. I saw it game after game, season after season. He was a world-class footballer and he's the best captain I've ever seen. He is the man who should have a bloody statue outside our club. And he is the man who won't get a statue out of our club because the club's decided to turn its back on him because it's backing Sir Alex. But Roy Keane, whatever you think about him off the pitch, and I know he can be a bit of a prat in some of the things he says, but as a legend on the pitch, he is the most important player, more important than any of the class of 92. And I'd argue that with anybody. He deserves a statue over any of them. Because, and I think most of them would agree with that. Great servants to the club, the class of 92. Legends of the club. But I'm telling you now, Roy Keane, what he did at that club in the 13 years he was there. He won us we won a treble because of him. We would never have been in the Champions League final if it wasn't for him. Fantastic player. And yeah, Fabrizio seems to mention Havertz agreed to personal terms and wants to force a move every time. Doesn't so for Sancho. Fab, Falk, Jan, nobody's given me any hope, says Anjit. Well, I think he's been giving you quite a lot of hope from Fabrizio. He's always said that personal terms have been done. We all thought he was going to say a Marcel statue. Keane was the man, him and Scholes, says Robert McCormack. Yeah, I'd love to see a statue of Scholes and Giggs sort of in pose as the midfield too. Do you think Sancho could sign on the 7th of September? Sounds like a pretty good date, says you know. You know, who knows? Who knows? Would you agree that the modern day United Trinity would be Gary Neville, Giggs and Scholes? Mojo. No. No. You're comparing Gary Neville, Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs to Charlton, Lauren Best. Why are you putting Gary Neville in there? Gary Neville's a right back, a very good right back, but how can Gary Neville be with Scholes and Giggs? You'd have to go with Beckham, Scholes and Giggs. Personally, a modern day comparable 3 to Best, Law and Charlton would probably be, I'd probably go Rooney, Ronaldo and Giggs. Maybe we sign... Oh, I'm not going to read that. Man United should buy Rice and sell Fred and Pereira's his finest KEHD. And Andreas Pereira has been linked with Benfica. What do you think about that? Player plus cash deal. Carlos Vinicius and Andreas, says Michael John. He is an interesting striker at Benfica that we've been linked to before. If we can get rid of Pereira for about 15 million and we can get rid of Dalot for about 20 million, that's 35 million. Easy work, 35 million. That's good. And you still got Lingard. Get rid of Lingard, 20 million, 55 million. You're halfway there to the Sancho fee. I think the interesting thing for me this summer is, what's the net spend going to be this summer? The last 2 summers' net spends have been about 60 million. What's the net spend going to be? Are we going to buy Sancho but then sell a load of players so that the net spend is actually about 40 million? Let's wait and see what happens with that. Anyway, look, an earlier show tonight. Lots of people watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Smash a like on the video. If you want to get on our Fantasy Premier League league, which is the United Stand, click the link in the video description, go to our Discord, go down the side to the FPL section and you'll find the link to do that. I'm also going to talk you through visually how to do it at half-time on the Lyon versus Bayern watch-along, which kicks off in about 10 minutes on Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. Just type in That's Football. The live comments is already open. Join me for the watch-along there. We'll continue the football chat. I'll show you how to do Fantasy Premier League. Thanks everyone watching tonight, and remember we'll be live at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning for the release of the Premier League fixtures for next season. Exciting times. Speak to you soon. See you on the That's Football watch-along for Lyon versus Bayern.